this year, and I guess last year as well, these couple of days mean maybe more to you than you would have thought 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's always nice to call in on these days. It's just a great thing that everyone who's listening is doing, and cancer is such a part of everyone's life, unfortunately, and it hits everyone at some point, and it's in everyone's family, and it's great that people are continuing to create awareness and trying to find ways to create better solutions and cures and really help people that are really in need. So obviously with my mom and my family, it's been something we've had to deal with, and it's just a terrible disease. And I'm happy that I'm able to participate today, and hopefully we can raise some money.
I'm sorry, Jerry. How's your mom doing right now?
She's doing really well. Thanks for asking. She's, couldn't be any better considering everything she's gone through, and everyone in our family is so happy. She's got some really, got some tests back that were really positive, and she's on the road to recovery. So we're all very happy with that.
Obviously, you say it affects us all, and indeed it does. But you more publicly than anyone else. Obviously, it's a personal thing, but everybody knows that your mother's going through it, and you're going through it. How did it change you, Tom, and change you and your siblings and your family? Did you have to immerse yourself in it and learn about it? And how much optimism do you have at this point?
Yeah, quite a bit. I think it's something. It absolutely. My mom going through it, but my dad was right there alongside every step of the way. I was, I'm on the other coast, so I wasn't there on a daily basis. So, I could only offer certain kinds of support in certain ways from afar. A lot of it was happening during the football season, and my sisters were there, every day, bringing my mom to her appointments and her treatments, and really providing different kinds of support and care that she needs. And my dad was there every step of the way, and my mom's friends and my dad's friends, and everyone. Everyone wants to contribute and help in any way they can. So you're always trying to figure out ways you can help, and for me as an individual, and you just do the best you can do, and certainly to see my mom now and come through it, I think she probably has a different perspective too. And it's just, you never know what happens in this life. I think we appreciate all these days that we have, and appreciate the moments that we have with each other, and that's really what I've tried to focus on. And my parents surprised me at training camp last week. Those are great moments, and my wife had a little surprise birthday party for me on Saturday, and my parents were there. I thought they were gone, and my sisters were there, and it was just, these moments that you have, and you really appreciate them, because when someone's not feeling good, like last year at this time, we didn't have any of those opportunities to do those things. So it's just nice to share it with them and with the people you care and you love the most. You appreciate the opportunities that you have with them.
It is true, though. That's what you gain is perspective, right? I mean, you gain some level of perspective throughout the entire process, and you realize that, this person's not going to be here forever. And, obviously you loved your mom before the diagnosis, but it does change the relationship going forward.
Yeah, it does, because we're all, you don't know what happens. I mean, your perspective is a great thing to have, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you just hope that you can when you have your health. I mean, there's a lot of things that are it's great, it's positive. When you're not healthy as you want to be, you do take those things for granted. Feeling good and feeling vibrant, and waking up and doing the things you love to do. When you can't do those things, when you are able to feel healthy again, even just someone who has the flu. I mean, after 2 or 3 days, when you get laying in bed, you wake up and you go, man, now I can do things again. So, obviously on a much bigger scale, when you're sick for long periods of time, it's really challenging, and it does change everyone who's dealt with it.
When you have your health, you worry about a million things. When you don't have your health, you only worry about one thing. It kind of focuses you. I can't imagine, Tom, I've gone through it with my father, and I can't imagine being 3,000 miles away. I would be very distracted. I don't know, it would affect my job, but it probably would. Your mother was going through chemo while you were playing last season, while you were going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and it was a very challenging time for our family. So, yeah, I mean, it's, my mom has been such a, important, supportive, loving, caring, sweet, kind, generous mom, and you want to be able to be there for her in moments like that, and you just do the best you can do from afar. Obviously, with the playing football, it's hard to do that because there's a commitment to, a team that needs you also. And I knew that, my dad was taking good care of her. And like I said, leading up to the Super Bowl, my dad had only been to one game all season. They hadn't been to any of those games, over the course of the year together, which was the first time in my entire playing career. So it was really special when she was at the Super Bowl, and really special to celebrate with her. And she was really looking forward to going to the Super Bowl. And I just, I wanted her to be there, and I wanted our team to get there. And, fortunately, we were able to get there. And it was a really special time for our family. We have such great memories, being there together. And, it's great that it turned out the way it did. But just because it really... it was kind of her treatments were ending at that point, so it kind of signified the end of not only the season, but what she was going through, what our family was going through, and it was a great way to finish the year.
Yeah, you mentioned your dad a couple of times, and it's a good point. I know I learned with my parents, anyways, is that you do, there's some people you can believe in they're going to do a good job, but you do learn so much about the other people in your life as well when you see them step up in situations like this.
You do, and when you're married for as long as my parents have been married, I mean, they're so in sync. And, my dad was so supportive, so loving, so caring right there. I just remember FaceTiming them so often as they were driving up to the UC Med Center in San Francisco for my mom's treatments. And, they were getting tough. And, as those treatments go along, as everyone who knows and dealing with, forms of treatment and chemotherapy and radiation, it takes a toll over the course of months, man. It's exhausting for everybody because just never feel good. And, my dad was making the drive up there, and, his life's on hold along with my mom's life and then my sister's. And, it was great to see how everyone really rallied together and to really help. And, I can't imagine dealing with it at a younger age. For me, I'm 39 years old at the time going through. I mean, there's a lot of families where there's teenagers whose parents are sick, or you don't quite have the maturity to understand the perspective of the situation. I can't imagine how challenging it is, or for when young kids are dealing with it, and it's so challenging and tough. And I've been in an experience where I've met a lot of those kids and met those families, and hopefully God is supporting them in every way that He can. But it's very challenging for all these families to deal with. And again, it's hopefully we can keep inching our way toward finding better solutions and cures and treatments and helping people live better lives.
Well, Tom, you mentioned the kids that are dealing with this. We were talking about this earlier. I'm sure, like us, you're amazed about their strength to be able to, it's not only the growing up, but it's dealing with that at such a young age. Does that give you strength the way it does to so many people to see what they are going through and how they fight through this?
Yeah, it's incredibly inspirational. And, I think you gain inspiration in a lot of ways. And, when you meet people or families or children that are affected by this terrible disease, it puts everything in perspective. And whatever you're dealing with, it isn't as hard as what they're dealing with. And, it's very inspiring to meet these families and hear their stories and provide them a little bit of support, or provide them a little bit of a smile or happy moments at times where they are really in need of it. And I have so many teammates who travel up to Children's Hospital and to hospitals in the city and provide some support on off days. It's really a special thing that I'm really proud of so many of my teammates that do that. And it's really a great way to keep perspective. We used to do that a lot in college, go up to, when I was in Ann Arbor, go to Mott's Children's Hospital and on our off days, and to just provide a smile for those families when they're really in need is, obviously it gives you probably more of a special feeling than many of the families, but it's some great memories to have, and it changes you forever, changes your perspective on a lot of things, and hopefully you can try to make some of these really challenging things that are going on a little bit more positive just by showing some support.
I don't know how often you've seen the NFL films or NFL Network the version of the Super Bowl with the mic'd up, but to me the highlight of the whole thing, there's a lot of highlights of that Super Bowl, but when Edelman says, "This is for your mom," man, the hairs on my back of my neck stand up. How many of your did you even hear it at that point? It was kind of a crazy point in the game, but did you feel that? Did you feel that energy? How many of your teammates knew what you were going through?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of them knew. I had so many people and coaches that, I had dealt with it too, and I think it does bring a lot of your team closer together in unique ways, because I have coaches whose moms are going through it, or,
right,
that we've talked about that, hey, maybe I wouldn't have had that conversation with that person at that time, but, that was something, there was real commonality between the two of us, and, players whose parents were affected, or, I've had teammates who have been affected, several of them, whose children have been affected by cancer. So, in some ways there's a lot of commonality between what we're all experiencing, and this is one way, unfortunately, but it can provide some real positive conversations and positive feedback. And when Julian said that, Julian's one of my best friends. He knows everything I'm going through. He knows my mood, he knows my energy levels, and for him to say that at that moment, it strikes me, it does. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. And the fact that it's captured brings back some special memories, because we were able to celebrate that at a later point too. So it just shows the commitment that Jules and I have for one another, and so many of my other teammates have, and the support they've shown me, which I really needed at certain points. I really needed their support and their love, and and I certainly got it.
All right, the quarterback question of the week is brought to you by Northeast Men's Clinic. At some point, when you turn 40 years old, does all the adulation and love get embarrassing after a while? Do you kind of want to say, just sort of leave me alone? This is, I'm 40, okay, thank you. Want to go home and have some cake and, call it a day? You had goats out there, people singing and serenading you, and at some point you say, this is getting a little strong.
Yeah, I think, I've dealt with, I've had, obviously, my birthday hasn't changed ever, and it's always fallen in training camp. So it is a little bit, it's not embarrassing. It's just, I guess, in some ways I'm a little introverted. So it is, when everyone's singing you happy birthday, it's a little bit, not embarrassing. It's certainly not embarrassing.
What are you going to do when you're playing when you're 55 and they do that again? Are you going to say this is...
I won't be playing when I'm 55. That's going to be...
We've never heard this before.
So 55 is 55 cutoff date?
Yeah, probably not 55, but that, it will be nice to, someday, just have a nice, quiet birthday. But actually, the fact that I was able to go out and practice and be on the field doing something I love to do, that was a great day for me. So I've had Matt Light shove a birthday cake in my face at practice. All the rookies always sing. So the fact that I could celebrate on the football field was pretty cool for me. And, all the fans came out was very cool. But to me, it was it was another day of training camp, which is getting us ready for something I really, have loved to do for a long time, and I still love today. So it was pretty cool.